views expressed on this program are those of the hosts, guests, and callers, and are not necessarily those of this station, its management, or other advertisers. You're listening to Transformation Talk Radio.
Voices of Women is a talk radio show that gives voice to the personal stories of women. It will inspire women and enlighten men to follow their dreams and create positive changes in their lives. Whether the audience listens to best-selling authors or a layperson like themselves, they'll realize there are others with similar experiences and feelings to their own. This show will give women tools they can use every day, which will empower them to step out of their boxes and create the changes they desire in their life. Kris inspires women to find their voices, speak up, and become leaders of their own life. Everyone has their gifts to share with the world, and it's time for women to work together to bring honor and respect to the feminine voice, which is within all people, men and women. Topics include personal growth, spirituality, creativity, leadership, and divine feminine. Now here's your host, Kris Steinnes.
Welcome to Voices of Women. I'm Kris Steinnes, and I'm going to be talking today to Deirdre Hadeis, a mystic, and William Arntz, a physicist, about where science and spirituality meets and the nature of reality. They are the creators of the inspiring coffee table book, The Not-So-Little Book of Surprises, and the book is beautifully designed with photographs from the award-winning photographer Endre Balogh. Balogh, thank you. Deirdre Hadeis is a mystical visionary and the founder of the Radiance Journey. Deirdre developed a system of spiritual awakening and healing based on her depth of experience in the Kabbalah's Tree of Life. Her life's work, the Radiance Journey, is an energetic practice of meditation and mindfulness on the qualities of divine light for transpersonal growth. It was developed with her mother, who had advanced stage breast cancer, and through this healing practice, her mother lived another 13 years. William Arntz started his professional career as a research laser physicist, and his first job was working for the Strategic Defense Initiative, SDI, which Ronald Reagan later termed Star Wars, on high-energy lasers. Then he wrote software, AutoSys, an automated job control system currently in use by most Fortune 500 companies. He retired, but then he decided to make a film, creating, producing, and directing the well-known film, What the Bleep Do We Know?, an exploration of spirituality, quantum physics, neurology, and outrageous possibilities. The film and the companion book, with editions in over 20 languages, was an international hit. So welcome, Deirdre and Will.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. We're so happy to be here today with you.
Yes. Well, first I want to say it's a lovely book. And there are a lot of concepts presented. I was amazed. Every page is chock full of very concisely and poetically. Mm-hmm. Usually you have to read a 300-page book to get all this.
That's true. I appreciate you acknowledging that. Thank you.
Yeah, well, it's just, tidbits of knowledge. And so first, what sparked you to write this book, and then in parentheses, Not So Little Book of Surprises, and also why is it a coffee table book?
Well, I'll tell you first of all, the everything that's in the book is based on my life as a mystic, being a mystic for a lifetime, and about 12 years ago, I started to share the knowledge that I was experiencing through the study of being mystic. And we compiled all of this in about 10 volumes. There's over 300 pages. And we have this, and I teach from it, but it's not published. I didn't feel like publishing, 3,000-page volume book. So Will came in and said, sweetheart, what if I pulled out quotes that I feel are really important for the world today? The world needs to get this information. And I was thrilled because I want to get this information out. And I was like, because it came from me, where do I even begin? Where do I start? So with his clear laser filmmaker eyes, he pulled out the different quotes and the different poems that he said this wisdom this knowledge that everyone needs right now. We started out with it being the little book of surprises. And then I said, we need to have photos. We need to have pictures. It needs to be beautiful because, reading can be so boring, and we are competing with cell phones and computers and imagery and visual. So let's put photos with the quotes. And then he went to Endre Balogh, who also had this massive amount of incredible photos. And when he put together the book, we looked at it and said, oh, it's too small. You can't see the photos. So all of a sudden, it became a coffee table book. We did not set out to make a coffee table book. We set out to make a little book of wisdom that could help everyone in life. And we said, well, we have to make it a coffee table book. And then, and we realized when we made it, we'll put it together, that it activates the left hemisphere of the brain and the right hemisphere of the brain for optimal learning or optimal experience. So I like to say that the Not So Little Book of Surprises is an experiential book because you're activating the whole brain in receiving the knowledge. So that's why we did it.
Mm-hmm. And so you had to collaborate with Endre Balogh,
yes,
to create the art that matched the messages. It's very beautifully done.
Mm-hmm.
I also think the coffee table, I was thinking about it, sitting on a coffee table, you might reach people who, are visiting people who are spiritual and who they have guests that come who maybe aren't, who pick it up and start reading about these concepts because it's a coffee table book. It's not a book, so it's different. So it may just spark some interesting conversations in homes.
Absolutely. Well, that was the whole idea. We wanted, we envisioned that the book would be laying on the coffee table and the kids in the family would pick it up and the teenagers would pick it up. Young people love the book. Young people love this book. And we envisioned people who aren't interested in spirituality would pick it up because it's so beautiful and maybe just read a page and, read about in order to enter into freedom, you must have a balance in your life. And that, what is that balance? It's the mystical and grounding, reality. How do we do that? So, so that was our strategy, and we hope it works.
Yeah. Well, I want to move on to William, in that you did the BLEEP film, which explored the convergence of science and spirituality. And now that you the physicist, and Deirdre the mystic are together, has that enhanced any of your more insights on how science and spirituality converges?
Well, yes, it has, but it kind of took a little different twist in that it became apparent to me how science has ostracized the mystical or the spiritual path for so many years and really sort of portrayed it as woo-woo and flaky and all that kind of stuff. And I really started looking in more detail at the science or the data that's out there about these non-ordinary experiences like near-death experiences or past life remembrances, a lot of stuff. And it became obvious to me that science isn't really doing science the way they're supposed to. They should be looking at all the data as opposed to ignoring the stuff that doesn't fit into their models. So being around Deirdre, who all of her life has had to kind of fight for credibility because people are like, oh, you see angels? Huh? And then they kind of roll their eyes. But the information that she gets from these beings is jaw-dropping. So it really has opened up my eyes. Before it was more intellectual. Oh, spirit and science coming together. They're really, in some respects, saying the same thing. Quantum entanglement is a lot like the oneness that the mystics report. There's all that, but then there's the thing that the mystics are really going to be the goad to get science to open their eyes and say, whoa, it's a bigger world out there than we first thought.
Yes, well, that made me, I was thinking about that. when science is going to accept that reality of mystical experiences, are we getting any closer to that? Because we start hearing I've been reading or seeing or I don't know, in a variety of places, how scientific findings is sort of confirming some of the spiritual mystical ideas and experiences, and yet maybe that's because in the realm I live in, I hear that more. So how close are we?
So, for years the science has been looking into the quantum physics, and the quantum physics it's most like the mystical because in some respects quantum physics is you cannot comprehend it. There's a famous quote, I think by Niels Bohr, one of the founders of quantum physics, says, if you think you understand quantum physics, you have no clue what's going on. And so there's that mysterious aspect of it. Like, why does an electron apparently know if you're watching which slit it goes through in the infamous double slit experiment? Yet when you observe it, it does something different than when you don't. I mean, that's so weird. How does the electron know? So you get into these paradoxes, and of course, a mystic, they often see the paradoxes. There's quotes in the book that says, well, you're separate from everything else, and at the same time you are one with everything else. And both of those are true at the same time. So that's sort of like, so people say, well, it's kind of like an electron saying it's a wave and a particle, both at the same time. You could say, doesn't it have to be one or the other? Well, in our mind, it does, but not in the electron. So that's kind of a lot of what, I realized after making What the Bleep is that those paradoxes, and it could be that science and spirituality, although they do share a common ground, there's certain things you come up to that it doesn't make sense, and yet it's true. And that's the job of the mystic, to point that out.
Yeah. Well, great. Well, we have to take a break right now. So we're going to come back and talk more with Deirdre Hadeis and William Arntz.
How would you like increased health and vitality? How would you like to avoid the onset of disease as well as slow the aging process? This is all possible through a simple, safe, and natural process. Every day we are either moving toward wellness or away from wellness.
Hi, I'm Mary Jane Mack. I'd like to be your partner in achieving optimal health. Contact me now at maryjanemack.com or call 425-392-0659. Visit maryjanemack.com.
When your body is awakened, your spirit comes alive. Dana Canetto is a transformational guide, embodiment coach, and spiritual mentor assisting women in realigning with their truth and embodying who they are by connecting to the wisdom of their body. Tune in every month on Transformation Talk Radio and the Dr. Pat Show Network for Body Divinity Radio with Dana Canetto. For more information on Dana and her services, visit danacanetto.com. That's DANACANNETO.com.
What is a brilliant culture, and how do we create them? Why are they important? Claudette Rowley has created a breakthrough 5-step process to help you align your culture with your business strategy for exceptional results. Looking for a culture that drives organizational excellence? Listen to Cultural Brilliance Radio, the second and fourth Friday of each month at 10 a.m. Pacific and 1 p.m. Eastern on Transformation Talk Radio. To learn more or work with Claudette, visit culturalbrilliance.com.
Kris Steinnes is a spiritual leader and healer and teaches a course on how you can transform your life through a meditation and healing system that will manifest your spirit's dreams. She manifested the Women of Wisdom Conference, the Women of Wisdom book, and this radio show. And she can show you how to change your life too. Are you ready? Visit the website and contact her at voicesofwomentoday.com. That's voicesofwomentoday.com.
Tune in to the hit show Mouthing Off with Chef Rossi. Chef Rossi mouths off about different subjects in pursuit of breaking down walls and opening up your minds. She and Dr. Pat banter back and forth, taking from the headlines of the day on subjects that reach beyond what goes on in the world into your hearts. And go to theragingskillet.com to find out more and let Chef Rossi know what's on your mind.
Are you ready to thread your life with intuition? Intuit Apparel can help you do just that. This is not just about a piece of clothing. This is about a movement, an awakening, and staying centered in life. Your life. Intuitive and host of the radio show Get Into It, Lynn Brown, was given this image with the intention of a clothing line designed to represent the essence of life itself. Visit intuitapparel.com now and wear your intuition with pride.
Welcome back to Voices of Women. This is Kris Steinnes, and I'm talking with Deirdre Hadeis and William Arntz. Their wonderful book, The Not So Little Book of Surprises, with beautiful art and photography in it, and an amazing coffee table book. So, actually, I kind of want to know how the title came about, Little Book of Surprises. What does that mean to you?
Well, the way it came about, first off, a little history. When I did What the Bleep, we had come up with the Little Book of BLEEPs, which had quotes from the movie and pictures in. So I was kind of thinking like that, and I was thinking the little book of, what's a little book of? And I came up with surprises. And the reason that it's a surprise, first off, I find the way Deirdre languages things, the way she describes things, her visions, it's very different than a lot of the stuff I've read, and it is actually quite surprising. When she gets in there talking about growing a new arm and things like that, it's surprising. So that was one half of the reason why. The other half was I knew from my research that what a surprise does to you neurologically is it way increases the neuroplasticity in the brain. So the neuroplasticity is the ability for the brain to rewire itself. When you have a lot of neuroplasticity, you can rewire really quickly. So that means you have a surprise, boom, and suddenly your brain is full of neuroplasticity, so you can rewire the brain very, very quickly, which basically gives you a doorway to transformation. Because anytime you change, part of what you change is phones are ringing everywhere. What you change is the patterns, the neural nets in your brain. And so what a surprise does is it lets you, in those moments after the surprise, rewire the brain, and that may give you a new perception, it may give you a new idea, it may give you an outlet, a new insight into your life. And that's why we say, and it's true, that a surprise is a doorway to transformation.
That's great. I like that. Yeah, and there's a quote, magic of surprise is the you before is different than the you afterwards. So when you have a surprise, yeah, you've had a big aha in your life. So that's great. And it's a fun title, Little Book of Surprises.
Yeah, and then the not so little, but we're doing the little book, and then when, as Deirdre said earlier, where the pictures, the photographs of Andre's were so amazing, we were like, let's see what this looks like in a big format, and then we blew it up, and it was like, oh my God, this is the book, and then what do we call it? And then that's when I came up with the Not So Little Book of Surprises.
Yeah, it's not so little, and then even the topics and are not so little either. Well, Deirdre, so you take the mystic's take on the nature of reality. So let's hear you talk about that, and what does it mean, nature of reality?
Well, the nature of reality is actually a very big question. To begin with, the nature of reality is a mystery. It is mystical. And for tens of thousands of years, reading through all the text, all of humanity has always grappled with what is this mystery? We can't control it. We can't contain it. Life happens. The entire field of transformation, which I'm a member of, is about how to somehow control or manifest our own existence or attract what we want. So we're always grappling with the mystery, with the mystical, that this is a mystical reality of change. But it's the big elephant in the middle of the room that nobody wants to really talk about, but it's there right in front of us. So from the mystical perspective, once you open your eyes to the possibility, or you open your mind to even entering into a conversation, that there is something more, something hidden, something that once it reveals itself to you, makes your life better, makes your life go smoother, actually does attract a goodness to you. Oh, that's a game changer. And that, my purpose is to really to highlight that and to say, let's look at this now. It's time.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's been time for a while, but it's even more time now.
Even more now. Yes.
Even more now.
Yes.
Definitely, we're going through it, and I think
yes, we are.
The reason is things have to be exposed to heal.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of exposure going on right now.
A lot of revealing.
Well, William, so in the science point of view, the nature of reality from the scientists.
The nature of reality is such that we can understand reality through our mathematical perceptions. I just said that fun. What it really is in science, well, really, science says the nature of reality is just what we can observe with our senses or with our instruments or our fancy telescopes or microscopes or whatnot. And the traditional view of science right now is that is reality. That is it. And anything outside of that isn't real. But I think the science that's coming in and the science that will be embraced, and probably 100 years from now it'll be so obvious, is that, okay, there's the three dimensions of physical space and the dimension of time that we're all familiar with, we swim in, but there are other dimensions. There are other realities, plane of oneness. There's some people see auras, or they see a type of energy that's non-physical, yet they see it. And based on their seeing, an aura, let's say, they can tell you things about a person that they have no normal way of knowing. So in the future, science will embrace that, and they will start figuring that reality, it's a greater reality than the one they're stuck into now. And once science starts looking at that, they will then, start doing what science does, quantifying it, coming up with laws and corollaries and whatnot. I mean, there could be a whole science of, let's say, prayer. Why does prayer work? Because they've done so many studies where prayer does amazing things. And what I see the nature of reality is expanding, and I think it's just a bit of human arrogance to think that our five senses can completely grasp the nature of reality when we have no idea how we got here. We have no idea why there's anything at all, and there's these questions that are just mind-boggling. So, I guess I'm somewhat of a renegade physicist because that's my viewpoint, but I think that is where we're headed. And like you said, it's good we go there because there is information coming from the other dimensions. I mean, you look back through history, you look at what Buddha came to understand, or what Jesus came to understand and put forth. I mean, that was all quote-unquote mystical knowledge that has really shaped our world, and I wish it would shape it even more because, like you said, we need a good dose of that these days.
Yes, that's true. So I want to move on to talking about the light. Now, Deirdre, you work in that realm of, we're divine beings of light, and our souls becoming radiant.
Yes, exactly. So, first of all, your soul is radiant. Every soul is radiant. We all have a radiance in us. If you want to equate it with the science, our body gives off heat. We are an electromagnetic field. Our ATP, ADP, it fires. It's an electrical charge. So we have this electricity. That electricity, where does it? What's the source of that electricity? Nobody's been able to quantify that. Where does consciousness live? It's like it doesn't live in a part of the body. That's a big question. From my awareness and my mystical living in the mystery, what I've perceived is that this electricity, this life force that animates us all, comes from our soul, and that within us there is this divine, energetic, self-perpetuating creation that takes us through a lifetime. And then what I learned is that there is a path, there is a way to be able to increase that energy, increase that force, that life force, for healing, for transformation, for changing one's life, for clearing away obstacles. That we have that at our disposal. We've just forgotten how to use it. And I've discovered that this is, through the path of the tree of life, there is an energetic pathway to open up deep reservoirs of energy inside of you, and that these reservoirs include the chakras, but it's expanded from the chakras. And when this happens, we have a radiant life. We experience our soul. Our soul gets to experience the wonder and the awe of this world, and it makes us happy. It's really simple. At the end of the day, we're happy because we're allowing ourselves to be in that joy of knowing our own soul.
Yeah, that's so true. Well, we're going to get more into this when we come back from our break. I'm going to talk about some of the things that blocks us from actualizing that light. Mm-hmm. So stay tuned, and we'll be back and talk more with Deirdre Hadeis and William Arntz.
Tune in to The Truth is Funny with Colette Steffen each Wednesday at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern on TransformationTalkRadio.com. This hit show will have you thinking outside the box and riding the wave of infinite potential. Join Colette on the Higher Self Network, inspiring listeners to shine their brilliance and ensure success while roaring with laughter as they recognize the humor of the giant cosmic joke. Visit thetruthisfunny.com.
Thrive is what we experience when our mind, body, and soul operate as one. When we thrive, we excel on all levels. Thrive is the mindset that matters. It is essential to our being. Have you ever found yourself looking for the instruction manual on how to thrive? You'll find everything you need to help you feel strong, powerful, and peaceful in your own body. So don't waste any more time. Visit thrivebyjen.com today.
On the cutting edge of the new mainstream, Christine Upchurch is passionate about bringing together science, psychology, and spirituality in a way that can be applied to our everyday lives for true transformation. The Christine Upchurch Show, stellar conversations to illuminate your journey, engages some of the most outstanding visionaries on the planet in lively dialogue to inspire you to become that bright light you're meant to be. Join Christine every Friday at 11 a.m. Pacific Time on KKNW, AM 1150, and Transformation Talk Radio.
Is traditional medicine not working for you? Do you still feel as if your health isn't 100%? Here at the Holistic Medical Center, Dr. Nushin Darvish and the qualified staff look through the dimensions of wellness and start a healing plan prioritized to your needs. Our physicians assess the whole you until complete health is achieved. Get the help you need by visiting drdarvish.com or call 425-451-0404.
Get ready to experience Truth Talk Radio with host Deb Acker. Tune in to Truth Talk Radio each Wednesday at 3 p.m. Pacific on TransformationTalkRadio.com to illuminate the truth in your daily life as you experience life, love, and abundance from a whole new perspective. This hit show will leave you feeling lighter and bring you into a place of infinite possibilities every day in every way. Visit TruthTalkRadioshow.com for upcoming transformative topics and guests.
Are you looking for the perfect setting for your next workshop or retreat? At Spirit Fire Meditative Retreat Center, cultivating consciousness is what we do best. Our guests count on us to create an atmosphere that supports serenity and well-being. We lead from the heart and create space for the mind. Freshly prepared meals designed with local and organic ingredients, 95 acres of beautiful woods and pastures, and a facility built with green in mind. This is what you'll find at Spirit Fire. For more information, visit SpiritFireRetreatCenter.com.
Welcome back to Voices of Women. I'm Kris Steinnes, and if you're just joining us, I'm with Deirdre Hadeis and William Arntz about their inspiring coffee table book, The Not So Little Book of Surprises. So let's hear your website and what you have to share with people.
Okay, so our website is very simple, bookofsurprises.com. It's bookofsurprises.com. And we're going to be in the San Rafael, San Francisco area early September, and in Portland and Seattle. So please come visit. You can get all the information for that. We'd love to share in some yummy time together, playing in that light. And we'll be doing a book signing. It'll be fun. We're looking forward to coming.
In Seattle, we're going to be at the East West Bookstore on Saturday, September 9th at 7 p.m. And so that we'll be doing a presentation there. We'll be doing some of the mystic physicist things there, talking about the collision between the two, and also about the Tao of surprise, because we think surprise is such an important part of transformation that no one's really ever talked about, but we're going to talk about it and we're going to use it. So hopefully,
that's great. That's true. Yeah. I haven't heard anybody talk about surprises as a way of transformation, but that's a nice way to put it. So great. I wish I was going to be in town. I'm going to be in Kenya during that time.
Oh,
so
wow! What a wonderful place to be.
Yeah. So I'm sorry,
we'll
going to miss you.
you.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm in this segment, we're going to get into some nitty-gritty topics that you have in the book. And so first, one of the sections you have is about cleaning up the mess, meaning cleaning up our relationships. So how do you do that? And you have a practice too, that you sort of share in your book even.
That's correct. So the the cleaning up of the mess. Well, we can just look at the United States of America right now. We have some really painful messes. And many times we feel, we throw our hands up. I don't even know where to begin. I don't know how to fix my life, my marriage, my family. I'm at a loss. And so the practice really is, usually we're the ones that created the mess. So if we knew how to clean it up, we probably wouldn't have created the mess in the first place. So we need to go to another source for the knowledge to clean up our mess. And the practice is spending time looking within in prayer and asking first oneself, surveying one's own life. How am I in this relationship? Am I clean? Am I doing all that I can to make this a good relationship? Am I coming from love? And then look and assess yourself. Be really truthful, because this is between you and you. Nobody knows. And then what works for me and many, many people that I teach this to, we say this prayer. We just say, presence, God, universe. This situation is more than I can understand. Would you please help me today find clarity? Stay with me, guide my actions, walk beside me. And then what you will want to do is you take a deep breath and then just imagine there is a blue pearl of light in the center of your brain. And this blue pearl of light is a dot, a hidden sapphire of energy in the center of your brain that ignites clarity. It's an opening, and it's a challenge, the third eye, to your guides, your angels, your guardians, to God. So you meditate on that blue pearl and breathe into it, and call whoever you feel is close to you. I always call the archangels, and I say a little prayer like this: help me, archangels, to be a better person. Bring me your clarity, your strength, your healing, your wisdom. Guide my every action until my actions become your actions. I open myself to your guidance. I'm eternally thankful for your care. And this simple practice, you do this every day in the morning. You just try it for 30 days and see what happens, because you will transform.
Yeah, it sounds great. And one of the things I know that I hear people talk about too is like the end of the day with gratitude for everything that has transpired that day. And sometimes that can be reviewing some of the messes that you transpired. And sometimes those are lessons that we need to have, so we can be grateful for those kinds of lessons, even though they're sort of sticky messes. Well, let's talk about the dark and the light, because you go into that in the book too. And often, we kind of get afraid of the dark, and we think we just have to be in the light and avoid the dark. And it's that hidden part. It's that hidden part of us. And it unconsciously affects us in many ways. And if we don't look at it, it's going to rear its head. So what do you have to say about this?
Yes, well, there's a quote in our book that the Not So Little Book of Surprises that is really a teaching that came to me 20 years ago when I was in a very dark time. My father was in the hospital dying. My daughter was 3, and I didn't have anyone to watch her, and I couldn't be with my father in the hospital while he went through this process. And the hospital made a terrible mistake, and he was dying because of their mistake. And they refused to admit that, and it got very ugly, and it was a very, very dark time. I was in so much pain. And one night, God said very clearly, very loud to me, "The darkness serves the light." I said, "What?" God said, "The darkness serves the light." And I said, "Well, what does that mean?" And God said, "Your task is to discover this." And I spent the next 5 years meditating on the darkness serves the light. Finally, one day I came to the place where I said, "Oh, okay, I can see how the darkness serves the light. If you transform from the darkness, if you learn something, if you change, if you make something better, if you are now of service, I can see how the darkness could help serve the light." And then, once I got that, God said to me, "I'm going to give you the rest of this." And God said, "The darkness serves the light if you are conscious. The darkness is just the darkness if you are unconscious." And that is what I want to say today. Why it is tantamount that we wake up and become conscious. Don't waste the darkness that is upon us. Don't waste it. Don't make it for naught, because then it will just keep coming and keep coming. Use this time to awaken yourself. And awaken happens by focus, clarity, and commitment, by desire, and by perseverance, and by being open to a surprise. And when you become conscious, your mystical vision, your expanded self that knows all, your angelic self, will see how to transform darkness into light, how to take what's going wrong and now make it right, how to take pain and suffering and then bring grace. This is what we're here to do, and we do that from being conscious. And we do this, we become conscious, enough become conscious. This runaway train we're on is going to slow down, and it's going to get back on the right track. But it's up to each and every one of us. We are all being tested. We are all being, the bar has been set high. It's time for us to become conscious and aware.
Yes, and I just wanted to share one of the statements you have in the book is that you talk about is the beast feeding on the light to exist, and without the light, the beast would not exist. And it's interesting you use the word beast. I've heard of that concept myself, but I know many probably haven't. But it has to do with that negativity that we take on, and if we're so one of the other things that you say in your book is when you have negative thoughts and actions, your positive energy leaks out of your energy field into the unseen world of confusion. And so, that's what happens is we leak our positive energy, we're feeding the beast.
That's correct. Fabulous. You got it. Thank you. Thank you so much. And the reason I use the metaphor of a beast, because a beast we always associate with our terror, our fear. In every horror movie there is a beast. And the beast really is the collective consciousness of fear that becomes hatred, intolerance, self-loathing, infliction of pain on others, and nobody on this show is going to be going out there hurting anybody. But what I found with our spiritual family is we harm ourselves. We don't believe in ourselves. We hurt ourselves in unknowing and unconscious ways, and that's the beast too. We allow negativity to take us over, and we don't mean to. It's nobody's fault. It's just what happens here in this reality. So, one exercise that you can do very simply, I do this, I teach this every morning and night. You just close your eyes and you call to the light, the presence, to clear your field of all negative thought, all negative energy. And imagine a pyramid of light, like a waterfall and crystal white pyramid just pouring over you. And that is a really simple and it works way for you to enter into the mystical to help you in your real life world, to clear from those negative thoughts.
Yeah, so important. Well, we're going to take another break. I'm Kris Steinnes, and we'll come back and talk more with Deirdre Hadeis and William Arntz.
Are you ready to thread your life with intuition? Intuit Apparel can help you do just that. This is not just about a piece of clothing. This is about a movement, an awakening, and staying centered in life. Your life. Intuitive and host of the radio show Get Into It, Lynn Brown, was given this image with the intention of a clothing line designed to represent the essence of life itself. Visit intuitapparel.com now and wear your intuition with pride.
Brand consultant Jen Morgan is here with Radically Distinct Radio to help you take control of your future and maximize your brand's power to produce results. Whether you're an individual trying to reinvent yourself and launch a new venture, or you're an executive trying to reposition your company to modernize your sales and marketing programs, Jen Morgan and the RAD method empower you to play to your strengths and show up in the world as your most powerful brand. To learn more, go to jenmorgan.com. That's Jen with 2 N's Morgan.com, or call 206-972-5366.
Discover the healing medicine from the giant monkey tree frog Cambo. Cambo practitioner Ginny Rutherford and professional psychic Todd Rolson have come together for lively discussions of alternative healing medicines from the Amazon. Ginny and Todd bring you Cambo Talk Radio. Tune in each Monday at 1 p.m. Pacific to hear from guests all over the world with real life stories and the medicinal benefits of Cambo. For more information, visit cambokiss.com. Calling all moms, it's time to awaken your vibrant, intuitive, loving self in every area of your life. Join host Debbie Pokornik as she shares thoughts, stories, and tools to help you stand in your power. Listen to Vibrant, Powerful Moms helping everyday women create extraordinary lives. Mondays at 2:30 Pacific, 5:30 Eastern. For more information about Debbie, visit empoweringenergy.com. That's empowering with letters NRG.com.
Tune in to The Jen Royster Show, intuitive guidance to inspire your life, each Thursday at 8 a.m. Pacific and 11 a.m. Eastern on TransformationTalkRadio.com. This amazing show is an inspirational hour that will take you on an epic metaphysical journey to discover the spiritual approach to life's greatest challenges. Dr. Jen is an internationally known intuitive counselor, spiritual teacher, and energy healer. Call in for intuitive readings and visit JenRoyster.com for more information.
Wow. Hey, everyone. Welcome. Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show. This is Talk Radio to Thrive By. I'm telling you, I got to pinch myself some days because when each of us gets called, to do something that we so not thought was in our wheelhouse to do, for a purpose that's so much greater than us, we get to show up and shine.
If you would like to show up and shine on the Dr. Pat Show as a co-host or sponsor, send us an email to inspire@thedrpatshow.com.
Welcome back to Voices of Women. I'm Kris Steinnes, and we're talking about the not-so-little book of surprises with Deirdre Hadeis and William Arntz. So, William, we've been hearing from Deirdre about the dark and the light and all that, and I'd love to hear what you have to say about how this affects our energy.
Well, what I see is that in a lot of spiritual practices that I've come in contact with, there's a certain idea like don't put any energy, don't put any focus on the dark, just stay in the light and then the light will purify everything and it'll all be wonderful and groovy. But energy doesn't go away. That's one of the things even in physics, conservation of energy. So if there is negativity or there is the darkness, if you ignore it, what it does is it just festers. It just gets more and more, and eventually it will find a host, and it will show up in our external world. The idea that thoughts create reality. Yeah, all thoughts create all reality. So therefore, if there's this negativity, it's going to show up. And I think what we're seeing right now in the world, especially in the United States, with all the craziness going on and just the hatred is coming out and how kids, during the election, suddenly there was a huge spike in children beating up other children of different colors. I mean, it's because there was finally a lightning rod for that negativity to come out. So, the thing that I think is that when you have those negativity, and we all do, we get angry, frustrated, pissed off, and all that, but you got to hang with it, and you got to say, okay, I'm not going to pretend like I have a halo on, and just because I'm wearing a white robe, I don't have these bad thoughts. You got to acknowledge it. You got to hang with it. You got to, look at it, and because, like Deirdre said in that great quote, that those bits of negativity are really. I talked about surprise being a doorway to transformation. Suffering is a doorway to transformation. And I know myself personally, I often won't make a switch until I'm really suffering. I'm really in a bad state, and then I'll make the big shift. It's like people, they know they should quit their job. They know they should quit their job. It's only after the boss embarrasses them in front of all their colleagues that they finally say, I'm out of here, because it just got so intense. So the thing that I want to say is with this thing about the dark and the light energy, you have to work with both. But remember, like Deirdre said in that great quote, if you are conscious, the darkness can serve the light. And that's something for, everyone to just really bring that awareness into your light and see if you can turn it around, because obviously right now the world could use a great big turnaround.
Yes, and also, the world's a mirror to us. So if we're seeing the hatred, we have to look inside, like, where is there hatred in my heart? Where are these things in me? Because, it is a mirror. And a lot of times we just want to ignore it, like, no, I'm not that way. That's not me. But where in some little aspect it could be, showing up in your life too. Just when we make a judgment of somebody, just even simple things like that. Well, Deirdre, there's also a page that states, you must become the shepherd of your soul, care for your soul, talk to your soul. And so that struck me as interesting, because sometimes I think we think the reverse is needed, that we're wanting the soul to talk to us, talk to the human and guide the human. So why is talking to your soul necessary?
Excellent question. Okay. Well, first of all, this reality is not the home of our soul. This reality is a foreign country. It's a foreign galaxy. The laws of the soul, how the soul relates, the soul's consciousness does not fit into this world very well. The soul is pure God, pure light, and so the soul does not have darkness, hatred, intolerance. The soul, in the dimension where we're born from pure light, we don't have concrete walls that you can hit and break apart. So the soul doesn't understand this world. But the soul incarnates. The soul comes here. The reason we are here is for our soul to grow and to have a human experience here. And in order to do that, it's incumbent upon us, the ego brain, and the consciousness to shepherd the light, because the light of our soul is innocent. It's like a baby, but with superpowers. Because the soul has the power to heal you. The soul has the power to create magic and miracles in your life, because the soul is where who you are, your soul, and the God are completely one. And we have because the ego is cut off, because we're asleep, we forget this. You know, all awakening is, all enlightenment is becoming aware that you have a soul and that you're here to have a dialogue. So the soul will give you wisdom and knowledge and information and intuition and guidance. Go here, make this decision, go on that idea. You know, that's your soul talking. But you need to say back to your soul, thank you, soul, I love you. What do you need today, soul? Your soul may say, I need to take a warm bath and smell lavender. Your soul may say, I need to go in the woods and take a walk. Your soul may say, I need you to call your friend that you're estranged from and tell them how much you love them. I miss them. Well, we don't do that. We won't listen to our soul. I'm too busy to take a bath. I don't have time to take a walk. I am not calling my friend and telling them I love them because I have a position I'm standing on. So we don't listen to the soul. And yet, if we were to listen to our soul and be in dialogue with our soul, our lives would be so richer, so fuller, filled with love and healing, a great deal of healing. So that's a long answer, but it's a big subject because we all have very big souls.
That's true. Well, I want to end with just one of the, I guess it's kind of a metaphor. You weave through the book, it's kind of poems on the honey jars. And yes. So tell us about why honey and what's the story behind these poetic verses?
Well, I'm a poet. I've been a poet my whole life. And this poem came to me one evening. I was just sitting around and I heard my higher self, my soul, say, am I really alive? Am I really here? And I realized that this was my soul talking, and my soul began to dictate its journey. I wandered on the stardust to understand the question, to try to know what recollections made have left me here unknown and unseen. Because the soul was saying to me, I'm unseen in this world. No one sees me, no one acknowledges me. I am alone. And how many of us feel alone? How many of us feel like I'm completely alone? I'm so depressed. I'm alone. Because that's our soul saying, I feel alone. I feel unseen. And then it goes on, a mysterious hand pushed me on until I asked who and what it is I am. Meaning that God said, beloved soul that I created, I'm pushing you on to understand the situation you're in, to make a friend of your host, the ego consciousness. Keep trying, don't give up. There's a big plan. Know who you are. I am, to be or not to be. The saying is, I am that I am. So this poem just flew out of me. And the honey, the metaphor of the honey, where it says, and the solutions I thought I had were only empty jars of honey, sitting on a sun-filled window shelf, a chorus of honey-dove ghosts crying more and more honey. That the empty honey jars, that's who we are. We've become jars. And think of a jar. A jar is fragile. It can break easy. And we're empty. We're empty of the spiritual honey, the sweetness of life. And yes. We are calling, we're crying for it. We're crying, please fill me. And that's the story of the whole poem. And it's a journey. It's a journey. And in the end, there's an answer.
Yes, it's great.
It.
No, and honey's so rich and yummy, so I love it. Well, thank you so much for being on the show today, Will and Deirdre.
We love it.
Thank you.
It's been an honor and a lot of fun. Thank you for having us.
Yep, so everybody check out the book. Go to bookofsurprises.com, and you can, they may be coming to your city. So check that out. Check out their schedule, and be sure to, I'd love for lots of people to buy this book. I think it's a beautiful book. So I am Kris Steinnes, founder of Women of Wisdom Foundation, and I just want to remind people we are having a benefit dinner. It's called Tree of Life, celebrating our cultural diversity. It's September 18th. We have Anila Afzali. She's the founder and executive director of the American Muslim Empowerment Network, which is a new initiative in the Muslim Association of Puget Sound. She's going to speak on American and Muslim, a women's experience. So check that out. You can purchase tickets at womenofwisdom.org, and also check out my book. It's an Amazon bestseller and award-winning book, Women of Wisdom, Empowering the Dreams and Spirit of Women. It's also available in Kindle, which means it's got color art in it. And just like the conference has changed women's lives, the book has touched many people in their exploration of the divine feminine. And you can read about that at womenofwisdom.org as well. So time to say goodbye. I hope everybody has a great weekend.
You've been listening to Voices of Women with Kris Steinnes. Tune in each Friday at 1 p.m. Pacific Time, 4 p.m. Eastern Time for Voices of Women Today, radio with Kris Steinnes.